I don't know, maybe it was an elephant. Who knows what? Or maybe it's something that died off, that God let die off. Um, maybe one of the, what do we think of? What's the word I'm looking for? Dinosaur. A leviathan. We think that. You think, well, that may have been a whale. It may have been bigger than a whale. We don't know what it was. But God said, I made all these things, and where were you? Where were you when I decided how far the waves would come from the pool of the moon? And where were you when I made the moon? Where were you when I made the sun? One of my tiniest little things I ever made. And we're like, yes, he made things lots bigger than the sun. Y'all, what I think God is trying to say to Job is, you know what? You sit right there, and I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to answer me. Where were you when I did all this? How dare you question me? This is from one that he had faith in. He still had faith in him, by the way. And he allowed to be tested like this to show that he would come through. And he did. He never stopped believing. He just didn't understand it. I'm using my Chanel soft rose. I think it's soft rose. Yep. 48 soft rose. I love this stuff. Because it stays on all day. Just about. It doesn't transfer. And it's the color of what I consider my skin would look like. So while it looks made up, it doesn't look overly. I mean, I like to look a little bit that way, so it looks like I'm just in trouble. And I enjoy it. I feel a little more put together when I have my lipstick on. And then you use the other end to set it. It moisturizes it, makes it shiny like lip gloss, and it sets it. And you're done. Okay. So anyway, as I was looking at this, I was like, okay, God, you spoke to so many people in the Bible, and there was these responses. So, what would you say to us? And when we feel like we're going through something, can I just throw a few things your way? What you should do about it? By the way, this is the Marc Jacobs called the Bronze Brush. Very expensive, $75 brush. Can I tell you, you can get a lot cheaper, nice bronzer brush at your local drugstore. So I'm telling you that yes, this is a very nice one, but this is not what you need. I think this is back in the day when I thought I had to have everything. Like last year. Maybe last week, I don't know. But I'm learning. I don't need it. Okay. So, and this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Bronzer and Tawny. And it is a little too tawny for me, but I'm going to keep using it. But I just use it very lightly and try to blend it a lot. Because this is what I use just to get a shadow under here, so it's just not so fatty, my little fatties. And also these little jowls right here. That's just from aging. This muscle lets go. And unless you have reconstructive surgery, you're going to have that, y'all. And then I'm just going to try to give myself a little bit of cheekbones. And I'm coming under it. All the young people say you should do it up here. That's where your blush belongs. They're wrong. It should be right under. And that's what gives you that sunk in look right there. And that's why you do it there. So there. I do believe in giving a little bit of color to your temples. And I go across at the hairline just a little. And then this temple. Because it does kind of bring this brightness forward when you do that. Okay? And then also, because I have a large nose, I go under my nose. But I blow out. Not too much. And if you wanted to just keep it natural, you could just put a little of this on each eye. And it's not so bright white, or bright whatever you are. If you're a dark-skinned or medium dark-skinned lady, it still will darken whatever your natural is to put bronzer there. And so I could just go like this. But I like eyeshadow, so we'll do that. Anyway, so what do we do when we feel like that God is allowing us to go through something and we're like, Lord, I'm trying to go through it, but I'm really suffering, and I don't want to sound whiny like Job, so what can I do? Well, first of all, do go ahead and confess your sin to God. Just sit in prayer alone with Him and evaluate. Say, Lord, examine me and show me how to examine myself, and bring forth to me anything, and bring forth to my mind, Lord, anything that is sin. And then confess that sin to God, and apologize for it, and repent of it. Don't do that anymore. And ask God for the power to be able to see it, and to be able to repent from it. And then ask Him for the strength to live sin-free. And people are like, you can't do that. Well, not this side of heaven, but that is what we're called to do. This is Givenchy Mr. Light. It is a instant light corrective pen, and y'all, this is expensive, but I really do like it. It's 3WD2, and then the number 4. It's a concealer, and it is, I really do like it. It's expensive, but I feel like it makes a bigger difference to me than almost anything I've used lately. I have retried this. This isn't brand new, so I hope they even still carry it, but just that alone, look at the difference. And sometimes when I just use light colored concealer, it doesn't have this same effect. And maybe it's because this is super thin. The closest thing to it, as y'all know, do I have that handy? I don't see it. That you can get at the drugstore or online is the Rimmel under eye concealer. And it's nice and thin too. The thinner ones are better because they don't look so wrinkly as you rub them in. And then I do go down the little crooks there, around here, and that little drop that we were just talking about, it just happens with time. Look at the difference. See how you see that crease? When you lighten it up, you don't see it as much. So, I'm going to do this. Y'all do hear Bree is snoring under at my feet. Isn't that cute? And sometimes, you can put it right here in this wrinkle. And then I do one right there on that wrinkle. And see how that just lightened it up? You can also do it back here, but I'll just do that with eyeshadow. So, I do like this. Sometimes you have little splurges like my lipstick that I'm going to do. Now you could use a brush or you can use your fingers. I'm going to use my fingers because I'm going to dab it first. Dab it in. And then just to make sure I got all that area, I'm going to smooth it out a little with a swipe. But then I go back and dab it because I don't want to lose that color. I think you always do lose some of it when you just do anything but dab it. And then see how I'm going out? That's where I'm getting the bright right around my eyes, and I'm also putting it on my tear ducts to wake that up at either side of the nose right there, either side of the nose right there, then come out on that big wrinkle, and then blend it back. And then here, be sure and rub these in, or you'll just have a little wrinkle full of creamy stuff on either side of your mouth, like you ate some pimento quiche. And then just kind of brighten that up right there. Don't go farther down, especially if you have a big chin like me. You want to darken that, not lighten it, but right above it you can. And also, right here, you can lighten up. And down your nose. Just right down the nose bone to the tip end. That's all. Some people like to put it here. The thing is, the 11s are such a bad, 11 look, that's such a bad wrinkle that when you put stuff in, you are filling it in. And it does set it worse. So that's my brightened look. Okay, so what is one of the things that also we can do? Resist self-pity. Ask God to open the door to you of how somebody who is suffering like you is around you and you can minister to them. And believe me, when you take your mind off of you and focus on someone else who's suffering, the self-pity will go. When you focus on yourself, you will have self-pity. When you focus on helping someone else, you won't. And some people say, well, you can ignore your own problems. Yes. Yes, you can. Don't listen to them. God is going to fix what he's going to fix if you ask him to take over your life. But y'all, one of the things that we have to do is don't turn inward with the pain. Instead, patiently wait for God's timing and what he's going to do in your life. And trust that he's going to. He already knows what you want. It's okay to ask him. And also, I think it's good to get help from the body of believers. In other words, go to your Christian friends who will not let you spiral down in that self-pity. They won't let you do that. They'll say, okay, you can't do this. You're going to have to snap out of that. We're not going to do self-pity today. We're instead going to focus on someone else who needs prayer. And we're going to pray for you, and then we're going to trust God with it. That's how we're going to deal with it. By the way, this is Malibu Baked Blush by Laura Geller. I think this is still out, and can I tell you, get it. It's the color of a sunburn. Do you see how hot pink that is? That's what it looks like. And I literally just put a little on, tap it off, so that you don't get a lot. And I literally, right where the smiley is, just go up a little. Just a little tiny bit. Do you see there's just a touch of it? So it's like, yeah, because that's the way the sun hits, is right there. And then right on the nose bone, right there. Just a little bit. And you see how bright that is? You don't need much. Matter of fact, I'll probably have to blend this back down. Again, right where the sun would hit. Right up here. And then right on the top, right there. Not the bottom, the top. And then just a little bit on the front part of the temples. and right there at the top. Just a little bit. Still stay away from this middle place, unless you really want to look sunburned. But that's enough. That's just enough right there. Okay? Now, I look like Raggedy Ann. Some of you don't even know who Raggedy Ann is, but I'm going to try to see if I can just use this blending brush to blend that out a little. It's too bright. That's okay. I wanted to get it on there, and then I'll blend it down. If it's still too bright, which I feel like it is, and I also don't feel like I got right there with it. Sometimes there's parts of your face that just don't pick up color, and so you have to go over it a couple of times. And so what that means is you're probably going to overload the color, but then you just take it back off. That's all. Okay, so that's overloaded. But what I'm going to do is use the brush that I did put my foundation on with. I'm going to start in front of it and blend back. So, and right under it. Okay, do you see how that toned that down? So go in front of it and blend it backward. And definitely come under. You see that just calmed it down, but still it looks like there's a little bit of blushing, but it's not overly so. Okay? Does that look even? For some reason this cheek is not taking well. That will happen sometimes. That's just nature. Again, I'm wiping this off in my little brush because again, that's not powder, that was a cream. And so you want to get it dried back off. And also, even though your powders, you're going to do them as well, you probably don't need to do them as often. Okay, so that's that one. Let's see, what else are we putting up today? Alright, so eyes. I want to use this Sugar Rush, which I got at, this is, I think it's a Flower. Yeah, flowerbeauty.com. That is Drew Barrymore's line. And this one is called, it's a shimmer and shade palette, and this is Sugar Rush ES2. Okay. So we'll just think about how we are going to use this today. I think it's fixing to switch over to part whatever.